Everybody, I am trying to work, and naturally, anytime I want to work, I have to deal with this. But this only wants to be here when it's time to work. Aside from that, this could give the slightest shit less about me. But nice to see all of you. I would love for you to check out CariniArts.com. I've got a new updated link tree, and I'm on some new platforms, as the title may have conveyed. I have made the decision that it is time for me to, despite what my shirt says, so the shirt says, please buy my art. I'm not built for OnlyFans. But despite what the shirt says, I have decided that it is time indeed to move over to OnlyFans. So I'm not going to be leaving my other platforms per se, but I decided that it was time to move on to OnlyFans. Now, I know people hear the word or words OnlyFans and they have certain connotations, certain opinions, thoughts about what that is. Now, it is a platform that essentially has unrestricted potential. You can do whatever you want to do on there for the most part. And for me, I see it as an avenue for creative potential. I see it as a great opportunity for artists because I've been running into this issue for years and I've been noticing more and more where there are restrictions on artists for what they can do. And I'm an abstract artist and I just talk about mental health a lot. I'm very open, I'm very candid. So I do speak my mind, but I do try to be respectful of other people. I don't think that I do any harm. I think I do far more good than I do harm. But I've run into quite a few situations where I've been censored, I've been suspended, I've been at times banned, and it hurts business. It's very difficult for artists and it makes us feel like we can't truly express ourselves at times, like we can't be open. Now, I get that there are platforms for certain things and there are community guidelines and there needs to be an understanding of, okay, this is what it is. And so I get that and I respect that. And so I've come to a point that I've looked at these other platforms and I said, okay, I respect your boundaries. And the way that I look at it is it's like leaving a relationship that wasn't right for me and moving into a relationship that is right for me, where I can be who I want to be. But in moving into this new relationship, it still allows me to have this friendship with these other platforms. So, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that. I will still be here. I will just be a toned down version of myself because now I have this other avenue where I can creatively express myself without the restraints. And I think that one of the things that's been difficult for me for the past couple of years has been having these restraints and feeling constricted. It makes me want to act out and to kind of push the boundaries of things. And now that I don't have to worry about that anymore, I can kind of just relax and do the things that I want to do. So even though I kind of fought it for a long time and held off making the decision, I feel so liberated in finally deciding that this is the route that I want to go. And in addition to this decision, we also launched my podcast recently, the new podcast. So I had a podcast before. It was called Sunny Side of San Diego. And I did it with my partner, Vinnie, who I went to high school with. And we decided, you know what, let's change it up. Like, let's make it an art podcast because it was kind of a disservice for me not to be doing an art podcast. So we revamped it as Art for Everyone podcast with Carini and Vinnie. And we're going to have some incredible guests on there. We've already had a few on. And some of you may have seen that we do the live feeds right here on YouTube. So you can see those, but we're going to have some massive, massive guests on there. We had Nick Boltman on there a couple weeks ago. And we had my friend Autumn, who's one of the top performers on OnlyFans, on there this past week as we talked about sex and art and marketing. So we're going to talk about the important stuff. And my buddy Vinny has no background in art. So it's an opportunity for us to welcome people to the dialogue because I got tired of feeling like art is always this exclusive club. And a lot of people feel like they can't just walk into a gallery and observe and appreciate and feel. They feel like they have to have this certain level of understanding and education to do so. And I want to let them know that it's okay to just go in and observe and feel what you feel and not know the words to use. Now, we will try to teach you the words or some of the words along the way, but you don't have to know them to be welcome to our show. There's no bullshit. There's no restrictions. Everybody is welcome. And we're going to talk about art. We're going to talk about the business of art. We're going to bring on great artists. We're going to bring on gallerists. We're going to bring on industry professionals and suppliers and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff and hopefully helping to educate people and not belittling people or making them feel small. So we want to make everybody feel welcome. We want to lift you up and we want to bring you into the dialogue. So check out those episodes we got here on this page because those are right here on this page. And you can also find the show on most podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, a variety of platforms. Like there's at least a handful right now, and I think that we're going to be adding even a few more. So we're trying to do what we can to add as much as we can and really bring this show to the people. But a different approach to the art game, because I don't think that there's another show out there quite like this, where there's somebody that is an industry professional that's been doing it for decades with somebody that has no experience. But I think that that'll create some nice dialogue, especially as we bring on different guests on our shows. So this week, we're going to have another artist that I know, Jason Humphrey, on the show. In a couple of weeks, we're going to have an artist, Clara Woods, on the show. So we have a star-studded lineup, and I'm finally able to tap into my resources because I've been in the art game for so long. I'm like, why didn't we think of this before? I'm so connected to all these artists and these industry professionals. This was a no-brainer. But it took me hitting a point of struggle and kind of hitting a wall for me to realize, oh, you know what? Maybe I just got to change my approach. But it's what I always say, when artists hit a wall, we just need to find creative solutions. But who better to find creative solutions to problems than artists? And so OnlyFans, for me, it unlocks this new door of creativity. It allows me to explore my art without the restraints. I will be doing tips on there. I will be doing tutorials, and perhaps there will be a little play on the provocative side, but not over the top. But what I have always said is that as artists, if we are honest in our work, if we are vulnerable in our work, we are fully exposed, we are naked before the world. And a lot of times when I am creating, I am, because I live in San Diego, and a lot of times I'll do it after working out. So like that, I'm sweaty, or just whenever I'm in the mode, sometimes I'm half clothed or not clothed or whatnot. So those are the realities of being an artist. And what some of these other platforms have done is forced me to be like, oh, okay, well, we got to get cleaned up. We got to do this. We got to do that. We have to follow these protocols. We can only say this. We can't have music on. We can't do this. And I want to provide a more pure experience of the artistic journey. So that's what my page, I hope, will be. We're going to have to see how it unfolds. I do look at this like moving into a new body of work or a new type of art. It's a new medium where I have an idea of where it's going to go, but I really kind of got to see what happens. It's like with a painting. When I start a painting, it's like a dance with a partner. And so I can have an idea of what I want to do. I can be overly aggressive. I can try to just control the movements and whatnot. But if I don't allow my partner to take their cues and to have their voice in it, it does not become all that it can be. And so I'm moving into the space now of trying to let things become all that they can be. And I really believe that this may be the way, because it takes all this pressure off, allows me to put my time more so to the people that are really supporting me, supporting the lifestyle, making it possible for me to do what I do. And I think that moving to a subscription-based platform is probably a good idea, because I don't know how I neglected this for so long, but Facebook, Instagram, these other platforms, people go there because they are free. And even though you can support artists for free by liking, commenting, and sharing, a lot of times people don't, sadly. So at the point that I stopped getting the free support, it was like, okay, well, what are we going to do to make this sustainable? And a platform that is subscription based, where people are expecting to pay, they are much more inclined to drop money. So I think that it's something worth considering. And it is a platform that is open to a lot of things. It doesn't have to be sex work on there. It could be a variety of things. Now, I do partner with a number of people in the industry, in the sex work industry, and we do creative collaborations, like things where I will paint them or cover them in paint. All stuff that I feel is very artsy, very classy. And I have no judgment on anybody in the industry of doing sex work. I think that everybody should be able to express themselves as they choose to, and it is not up to me what others do, and I have no right to criticize people for how they choose to live their lives. So I work with a number of these women, and I have to say that the women that I've worked with, they are the sweetest, kindest, gentlest, most sincere people that I know. I consider them good friends, and I have the utmost respect for them. And that's something that we talked about on the podcast this week, because we had my friend Autumn on there, who's in the top 0.0002% of OnlyFans. Top performer. We had her on the show to talk about sex and marketing and art, and how you can utilize your physicality if you want to market your, is that right? Is it wrong? And I guess that's up to you to decide. But for me, the two things that I'm passionate about are art and fitness. And for a long time, I've been working on the art, but why should I not monetize the fitness and tie it in by just doing the things that I normally do, like sharing my routines before maybe going into the studio and whatnot. So I think that this is going to allow me to have a more voyeuristic approach, or provide you with a more voyeuristic experience into the life of an artist. So really, I look at it kind of like the Truman Show. It's like a documentary of sorts. I'm bringing you into the fold, but I will provide tips, tutorials. I'll be able to provide and give more attention to the people that are supporting me. So it allows me to really feed the people that are feeding me. So I'm excited to see where it can go, and I'm excited to get started. I am art.daddy on there, but you can check out my link tree. And the name Art Daddy. So Autumn suggested that, and I wanted to defer to her since she's one of the most successful women on there. And obviously, being a guy on there, it's a different experience. And I'm a guy that's going to be doing something different in the fact that I'm going to be an arts based page is just going to be a little bit spicier, perhaps, than maybe on some of the other platforms. But on TikTok, I am Cat Daddy Carini Arts. So it was kind of a way to merge things together and just have a little bit of fun. But I do intend to just have fun on there and just be myself and do what I do. But I do hope that it will grow, and I'm curious if it will grow. And I would love for you to support me in the ways that you are willing, in the ways that you feel comfortable. But you can check out my link tree to find my other platforms, because I am on a number of others. So if not this one per se, maybe you want to follow me on that one or that one or that one. But I would love for you to check out my stuff. I would love for you to check out the podcast, and I would love for you to tell people about the podcast. But moving to new creative avenues, and I'm excited because I feel again like I can create the future to be whatever I want it to be. And I think that that's an exciting place to be for myself. And I want to show other artists that this dream is possible, because it is hard, but it is possible. Sometimes we got to do the difficult things, but the difficult things are usually an indication that what you're doing is worthwhile. And this is worthwhile, and I will find a way to make it work. So I'll see you next time.